Right, well, this is Birch Grove out in Shropshire. It's a typical silty mere. I think the average is about 10-15 foot at the most. Snaggy margins over the far bank. I don't know if you can see that far, I'll just try and zoom in a little bit. It's about 4 acres. Not too sure how many fish are meant to be in here. I presume somewhere around 50 to 100 fish, something like that. 6 fish over £30, up to around mid-30s I believe. Possibly something bigger. It's running on a weekly. You can book it throughout the summer. Blocks of a week, I think it's around 650 to 680 for a week. 4 can fish. There's 3 main swims on this bank, and they're all on platforms as well. You've got a lodge as you come into the lake, which we can do some filming about later. This swim's the compound, so you can use 4 rods on birch. This is the winter syndicate, which runs from November to March. There's 5 anglers on 1 week, 5 on the next, so we're on a rota basically. It doesn't tend to get busy, so it's just started last week. I don't think any fish were out last week. Oh, sorry, yeah, there was a mid-double out. Just come on today, there's 2 other anglers already present, and one of them's been on a couple of days now, and he's had a 31 common and a 17 mirror, so I believe. Unfortunately I've been left with the last peg, but the good thing about birch, most of these pegs produce fish at some point or the other. I'm fishing 1 rod over to the far bank. There's a snag tree right in that far corner there, and I've just managed to get the rig underneath the branches. It does hold a lot of fish, summer and winter. That rod is locked up tight, so the fish can't move anywhere. I'm not going to go into rigs just yet, we'll leave that for a later date. There's another 2 rods placed around that tree, but not as tight as that, the first rod. They're out into deeper water. First rod's in about 6-7 foot of water on the shelf, which is pretty clean. And the other 2 rods are out on open water off the bottom of the shelf in 10 to 14 foot of water. This is the deeper end of the pit. So we're fishing into the silt. There's no weed out there or anything like that. Not too silty either, to be honest. We've got 2 nights ahead of us. We're on Friday. It's the first trip back on for over 3 years now. So interested to see what's going to happen, to be honest. Just fishing single hook baits tonight and see what we can gauge. Because, like, with any water, you don't know how much bait's been going in the week before. So we start getting a couple of bites, and I might put a little bit of bait in. Once it's in, you can't take it out. The rain's just started again. The conditions do look good. It's warmed up. Last week it was pretty cold. It's got a lot warmer this week. The wind's just pushing into here gently. So the other 2 rods I've got about 3/4 of the way across the pit. Again, off the bottom of that shelf into the deeper silt. It is meant to be 2 natural springs in birch, and I believe one of them is out that way where I've got 2 of my rods in line with the pylon on the far bank, where that slack water is. Right. Morning. Well, no fish last night for me. Sun's just coming up now. Last time I fished this venue, I didn't catch a lot of fish at night, to be honest, anyway. All the bites tend to be between 10 and 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. So, it's looking like a promising day anyway. I'm using high-vis pop-ups from Mainline. The new Banoffee and the clockwork orange. I'm basically just trimming them down, put the shot behind the pop-up on the hair, and trimming the pop-up down until it lies flat on the bottom. I'm not trying to feed the fish, so I haven't put any bait in whatsoever. I'm just trying to snare and catch a couple of fish with the limited time I've got available to me. Like I said earlier, birch is only 3 or 4 acres and there's 3 anglers on, so that is pretty pressured for a small pit, to be honest. There's 3 swims on this bank. You're not allowed to fish the far bank, but you can fish over to it. Everyone's fishing 4 rods, so there's a lot of lines out there, but there's plenty of things you can do to help you get a bonus fish or 2 when it's busy. I've spooled up, for one, the Fox Illusion. It's a fluorocarbon main line, really heavy, sinks like a brick. Put some little sliding Fox sliders above the lead core just to pin anything back. I've also dropped a little Fox back lead right off the tips on the end of the boards. The rods are only just reaching over the boards. I don't want them hanging over. If there's any fish coming up and down this margin, if the rods are hanging over, it's a good chance it's going to spook them. You've got a lot more chance of catching them if the fish aren't aware that you're actually fishing for them. Those rods will actually stay out there now until I get a bite or until I go home. I'm 100% happy where I've got the rods on the spot. There's no point in moving them and disturbing the swims. Everything's settled overnight. With the fish activity as well, there's probably a lot of the silt's been kicked up and buried. A lot of the leaders and stuff like that. There's probably about 2 foot of lead core leader on as well, with a 4 ounce Fox lead clip system. Hopefully. So I've got one rod tied up tight to a snag tree on the far bank. That's the only rod which hasn't got a back lead and stuff on, because it needs to be locked up solid. I need to know as soon as that fish picks up that lead and starts cranking, I can bit into it and walk back a bit. Once it's clear from them snags, then we can play him normally, then loosen off the clutch, let him go. Just got to get him out of that danger zone, out of his winter home, and then we'll play it from there. On the clockwork orange, it's a £23 con, just roared off. New rig I've been playing around with, cracking fish. Well chuffed with this one. Still got another 24 hours to go. Just thought I'd show its winter colours and cracking shoulders on it. Spin around, sit to the other side. Not really happy. It is. My start fish. Rod's already back out before I even started all this. Hopefully time for another. Let's get him back. Right, trip's near enough finished now. Just coming to the last half an hour of light. Everything's packed away now. I was going to do a slow pack down, put the rods on the bottom of the boards. Ended up with 2 fish, 14 and 23, and lost 2 fish. Second one lost about an hour ago. Did feel a really good fish, to be honest. Pretty gutted about that, but you win some, you lose some. I'll be back down in 2 weeks to try again. Certainly can't complain now. 2 fish under my belt. Good start to the winter. Keep you updated.